Excellent. So welcome to the Zoom call, everybody. Nice to see you all. It's our regular Sunday evening Zoom call for 10 o'clock in the 10 o'clock on a Sunday in the UK. And we're back to until for the foreseeable future, we're back to doing this call on a Sunday at 10 o'clock. Wednesday at 10 o'clock, we're going to do a call about all the different platforms. And I'm still looking for a slot that I can do a regular call every week about problem solving with people, workshops maybe, maybe some in-depth strategizing about different things. So really kind of driven by you guys, and possibly even somebody, one of you guys presenting to the rest of us a platform that you've seen that you like. So we haul you over the coals about why you like it, what have you checked, why do you think it's going to be good for Wealth Warriors, as maybe even ask you some questions you can't answer, so then you go away and do some homework to feed back to us the following week why you think that particular opportunity is worth our while. So that's kind of where I want to get to. I've got nothing planned for that for this week, but on Wednesday I will be doing the different platforms, and I will also be talking about the new platform that we're looking at, that we're beta testing, that I'm quite excited about. I won't talk about that this evening, apart from at the end of the presentation, I'm going to stop the recording and then we can do a question and answer. And very often those question and answer sessions do turn out to be questions about the different platforms. So no doubt we'll be talking about the new platform Viralio that we're beta testing. Like I say, it looks quite exciting. So, well, without further ado, and here I am, totally unprepared. I thought I was prepared. But just goes to show you don't have to be clever to do this, for which I'm grateful, and you should be horrified. Just getting my presentation together. And then what I'll do is share my screen and we'll run through a standard presentation. And what I call a standard presentation is basically not one where I ad lib and just sort of show videos and different pictures and different testimonials and things like that, which I have done occasionally. But a standard presentation is where I've decided to stick to a PowerPoint presentation. The reason I like PowerPoint presentations is because it means that I get all the information covered that needs to be covered, even if I have to talk quickly towards the end of the presentation. But at least I know that all the information is in the video, because this will be available as a video within a few hours of the end of this call, hopefully. So I know that all the information is covered. I've not missed anything. I might have added a few extra bits, but not too much. The plan is to keep this presentation down to an hour, and this introduction has already taken 4 minutes. So let's get on with it. I'm going to share my screen and we will look at, like I say, a standard presentation for Wealth Warriors. Okay, so welcome to Wealth Warriors, financial freedom fighters. And as you know, I like that analogy. I like to see us as the rebels fighting against the forces that be. If you get involved in one of our platforms called Matrix Freedom, you'll understand that a lot more, that that's exactly who we are. The forces of the world, the financial and economic forces, the political forces, the different jurisdictions, the legal system, the financial system was all set up to make sure that you and I just shut up, live in our little corner of the world, become good consumers, and don't rock the boat. Okay, that's how it's all set up, and nobody wants you to succeed. And I see us as a small band of ragtag warriors who want to sort of sneak under the radar and carve out our own lives for ourselves, for our family, for our loved ones, and do what we want, not what the powers that be tell us to do. Some people think I'm being dramatic, but like I say, if you learn more and more about Matrix Freedom, you will understand exactly where that situation is going. You read these headlines and people say, "Oh, it's just scaremongering," but all the headlines that we read 5 years ago have all come to pass. And some of those headlines have only been avoided by a one-off fluke, or one, this particular person got elected for this and so on, and so that puts something on hold. But at some point in the future, it'll get back on track, and it'll curtail our freedoms. It will curtail our ability, or our ability to control our own lives. And so we're fighting against that. And the way we're fighting against that, of course, is to figure out what works and doing some of that for ourselves and for our loved ones. So a quick disclaimer, nothing in this presentation is financial or investment advice. With this new format, I've taken out pretty much everything to do with the different platforms. Um, so there is a danger when I'm talking about the different platforms that it comes across as financial advice, but in this presentation, there is no discussion about the platforms, and therefore it can't be financial advice or investment advice. So we're not an investment platform, we are a community. And the focus of each of us should be on developing our community, not developing individual platforms. But if you do decide to invest in any of the platforms discussed in this presentation, only use money you can comfortably afford to lose and carry out your own due diligence. Now, I wrote that the other way around for a presentation I gave last week, and I said something along the lines of instead of saying don't use money you can't afford to lose, I said don't use money that if you do lose it, it will cause you financial difficulty such as bankruptcy, missed bill payments, and so on. Okay, because if it's going to cause you financial difficulty, if you invest in something and that investment goes south, then you're investing too much. Don't do it. Okay. Just imagine that whole thing that you're investing in goes belly up, you lose that money. Can you still feed your kids, pay your mortgage, go on holiday next year, and this sort of thing? So, what is the problem with online businesses? Why do we have to band together like Robin Hood and his merry men? So that's probably an awful analogy, but why do we have to do what we're doing in terms of building wealth warriors? And the fact is, there are just too many scams out there. Scams are set up specifically to take your money and run away with it. But there are some businesses, they're not scams, but they are just somebody with a good idea for a business, good idea to make money for themselves. Grudgingly, they like to make some money for you as well. But predominantly, the reason they want you to make money is because they need your money in order for them to make more money. So they're not being altruistic, they're not being um, too generous or try to do something nice for you. They only want you, they only want us and our money so that it can help them make more money. That's the whole thing about these platforms. They are a business, we are their customers, and they want to make money off of us. And that's not a criticism. All businesses are the same. The businesses in your high street, the restaurant you go and eat at, the bar you go and drink at, the delivery company that you buy goods and services online. They're all businesses. They all want to make money from you. Okay, so they can stay in business and they can grow their business. But some of those businesses are just badly run and they won't be around in 5 years. That's online businesses and offline businesses. And then there's a third category, and it's businesses that are not scams and they're not poorly run, but they fall under the auspices of a regulatory body or government or an adjudicator or somebody who determines that they are a scam and that they will shut them down. Okay, so a lot of these businesses have agreements, or they're within a territory where the government can literally say, "We're going to seize all of your assets," and even if those businesses and most businesses at that point say, "Okay, we give up. It's just too tough to recover," and they walk away, tacitly admitting they're scams, even though most of them aren't. But a few of them, very few of them, say, "We're going to fight this." And what they need is many, many millions of dollars, plus to cover all their legal fees, their lawyer fees, and so on. And they need about 4 or 5 years time to fight this in the courts before the government eventually gives in and says, "Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, no, I agree. You're not a scam anymore. Have all your money back." But most businesses just can't weather that storm, so that's why they shut up shop and go off and do something else. So we try to avoid all three of those. And what that means then is ideally we get to a few businesses that we can use to add to our portfolio where we can make some money. But the point is that with online businesses, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you cannot become truly free. If you're operating within the system, you cannot break out of the system. Okay, you just can't. Um, So you can't become financially free and time free and free from government control from within the system. You need to learn how to get out of the system. Okay, it's an analogy that a lot of people use is the Monopoly board, and the fact that most people feel that are a piece on the Monopoly board, running around that board, uh, getting taxed and getting charged rent and having to pay their mortgages and paying their utilities and trying to avoid going to jail, getting paid every month, $200 every month. Okay, I remember when that was a lot of money every month. And so that's it. They feel they are that monopoly piece at the beck and call of the rules of the game of Monopoly, when the reality is that that piece on the Monopoly board is something that you control. You're not on the Monopoly board, you're off the Monopoly board. You are moving the piece around the board. And it's the piece that you're moving that suffers the vagaries of the rules of the game, not you yourself. You're free from all of that control mechanism. And we'll teach you how to do that so that you can be free. Not only you be free, but you can show all of your loved ones how to get free as well for generations to come. Um, so that's one of the things we're offering in Wealth Warriors that I've never seen offered in any other system, where on the one hand you're making money over here, and on the other hand you're using that money how you want to live your lifestyle and become financially and time free and get free from government control. The problem is that individually, I keep saying the problem is, that's a bad habit. I've got to stop doing that. But individually, we're doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. So what we need to try to do is to learn from those mistakes. And it's easy enough for you to examine what you did that went wrong, you correct it and move on. Don't make that same mistake again, although many of us do make the same mistakes again because we don't have the mental capacity. This isn't an insult to anybody, it's just the way our brains work. If we did something or we thought about something this way the first time through, we're probably going to continue thinking about it that way every time we meet that particular scenario. So it's hard to break the patterns. We carry the patterns in our brains and in our DNA. Um, so individually, we're doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. But if we get together as a collective, we can discuss it. We can say, well, look, we did this happen last time. Why don't we do this next time? Why don't we do that this time around? Um, so I like to say that none of us are as smart as all of us, and I like that because it's just an obvious truth. So we can collectively we can avoid the pitfalls that we fell into the first time through. We're safer together, and with safety comes time, and that's not an obvious correlation, but that's what we want in these online businesses. Nobody ever gets started in an online business where they want to, because if you can afford to get started for $100, that's the most you can do. That's fine. It's going to take time to build up from that to be a useful income. Well, if you get started with $1,000, your lifestyle is such that the $1,000 to you means $100 to somebody else. And so when you build up your business, even though it's much faster and you get more income from it, it's still not enough because it still took you the same amount of time to get what you would consider a good return from that $1,000. And if you start with $10,000, if that's where your finances are at, then it's going to take the same amount of time and the same effort to get to the point where the profit from that $10,000 is worth as much as the profit from 1,000 for somebody else or the profit from 100 for somebody else. So we never get started where we want to. Our only chance is to start small, start the best we can, and build up. And to do that, to build up, we need to know that the platform is going to be around for a long enough period of time to allow us to build up to something useful and meaningful. And therefore, we need the time. We need the time that comes with that security. So there are benefits to being a member of Wealth Warriors, and Wealth Warriors, you don't get issued a membership card or wear a badge or anything like that, but there are definite benefits to being a member of Wealth Warriors. Benefit one is that you will never lose all of your money to a scammer again. Now, it doesn't say that you won't ever lose any money to a scammer, okay, but we take things slow. We get involved in things that we can start small and build up. And so if you put in $100 and you lose it, at least you haven't lost everything you own. And we're not going to lose everything all in one go to a scammer ever again. And I see that even now, even with the platforms we're using, because they're not exclusive to us, I see other people using exactly the same platforms we are, and they're saying, "Oh, I put all my money into that. I sold my house and I put all my money into that because I believe in it so much." And I'm thinking, Don't do that. That's just crazy. There's no need to do that. Benefit two, your team develop deep loyalty and commitment. And if you don't understand why that's important, you will by the end of this presentation. Number three is protect your permanent network of contacts. And we all have a permanent network of contacts, our friends, neighbors, relatives, and so on. But we destroy that network on a regular basis, at least until we know what we're doing. Because we get into something and we don't realize that it's a scam or it's going to go bust or it's going to be taken off the market soon. And so what we do is we put our money in and we like it so much, we get all of our friends, neighbors, relatives, and work colleagues to put their money in. And those people are our permanent network, and they get in partly because they trust you. Okay, and so it all of a sudden that platform, you wake up one morning and it's gone, and so is your money, and so is their money. Now, some of those people will never speak to you again. They'll take you off the Christmas card list. They blame you for the fact that that business has gone bust. Even if you did tremendous due diligence, you can have no control over whether that business is going to continue operating or not. It could be one of those businesses that got closed down by the government, or it could be a good business that was actually, it's just poorly run. Hopefully due diligence would show up that it's poorly run, but you can't always spot these things. We were involved in one a little while ago, and what we didn't do, and we had no way of finding out, is that within that company, one person had the ability to take all the money and run away. Now, in a properly run organization, properly run corporation, that's not possible. You would need the signatures of two, three, four different directors in order to move all of the company's money somewhere, or certain, more than a certain amount, more than say $1 million. But within this particular company, one person was able to just say, "I tell you what, I'm fed up with this. I'm going to take this money and run away." And that's exactly what he did. And there was nothing anybody could do about it because the company was poorly set up. It was a great business. It was running well. People were making money. But then that one flaw within the business arrangement meant that somebody could do that. Okay, but so that's not your fault, but your friends will always think it was your fault, and you'll lose some of your permanent network of contacts. Your brother-in-law won't speak to you anymore. Your best friend is upset at you and they'll never get involved in anything with you ever again. Okay, so within Wealth Warriors, we can protect that relationship you have with your permanent network of contacts. And in fact, not only can we do. Benefit four, you can build business, future business much faster and with far more profit. Now, this is something that most people don't realize. They get involved in one platform and they say, right, I like this. I'm going to go out and recruit a few people. Okay, and they start recruiting people. And then they get into another platform. They say, this is brilliant. I like this. I'm going to recruit some other people. And they go out and they have to start. So every business they start from square one. And square one is where they get in and they have no people and they have no investments below them, or no team funds, if you like, below them. So they're starting every single business from scratch. And within Wealth Warriors, what we do is we teach you how to build a brand new business based on the success of the businesses you're already involved in. And it normally takes people a long time to realize in Wealth Warriors that's probably one of the most beneficial things you can do. Benefit three is brilliant because it means you never have to apologize to your friends, neighbors, and relatives ever again. And benefit four is just such great business sense. It takes people a while to get their head around the fact that that is such a tremendous thing. It saves them time and makes them a huge amount of money in the long run. Benefit five, you can build one business and grow all of the businesses we promote. So let's suppose there's a platform you like, platform A. You get somebody involved in platform A, you bring them along to this presentation, and we teach them why not only should they build business A because it's a great business, but look, we've also got business B, C, and D. And they say, that's great. I want to get into all of those eventually. So you say to them, okay, let's get you into business B now. So you're now benefiting work you did in platform A now spills over to make it easier to make money in platform B, and then platform C, and then platform D. Okay, so that whole thing grows all four businesses, or five businesses, six businesses, and eventually we will have a lot of businesses, and they will all benefit each other in that way. You'll introduce somebody to one, and eventually they will migrate across to all the other platforms. Benefit six. This is specific to one of the platforms we operate, and you can recoup your loans you've had in the past, loans you've still got outstanding. Okay, you can write those loans off, so bring them to zero. You can then claim back the money that you borrowed in the first place. The same with mortgages. recent expenditure from your bank. You can claim all of that money back. All of that money legitimately belongs to you. And so you can claim it all back and have it in your bank account. And benefit seven, so you don't have to have a bank account to do that. I just said bank account as a figure of speech. A lot of people are coming away from banks, and that's fine as well. Benefit seven, you can become free and wealthy and live an abundant life. Okay, freedom is not free, and you'll appreciate that from building wealth warriors for a period of time. Okay, it doesn't happen by accident. What happens by sorry the analogy somebody gave me a while ago is they said that only dead fish swim with the current. Okay, live fish swim against the current because that's how they stay healthy. But dead fish just get washed downstream to the ocean with all the other detritus and dross in the river. Okay, so if all we do is go along with what the powers that be want us to do, we're never going to achieve anything. We're never going to get anywhere. We certainly won't become free. We won't become wealthy, and we will definitely not need an abundant life. I'm not even sure if that analogy is a good one, but I just felt like saying it. Okay. Assumptions for this illustration. So I'm going to give you an illustration of how it works. And the assumptions are that we have four platforms. We do. There's one we're not absolutely certain of still. We're still looking for more clarification about it. It's getting a little better, but not massively so. The assumption is you have 10 people in all four platforms. Assumption three is that you're making $1,000 per month in each of the four platforms. Therefore, your total income is $4,000 per month. Let's see how that works out. And we'll start from the beginning with you having just platform one. So this is you. You've introduced three of your friends, Alan, Bell, and Chris. Alan's introduced a couple of his friends. Bell's introduced Bex, who's introduced Bart, and Chris has introduced Colin, Cherry, and Chad. Sorry, Cherry's introduced Chad. So that's kind of what your business looks like. And because of that, you're making $1,000 per month. So that's fairly straightforward. Everyone can understand that. Let's move that out the way so that we can make room for platform two. Platform two, you introduce Alan, Bell, and Chris in exactly the same positions you did before. Alan introduces Andy and Araf in the same positions they were before. Bell introduces Bex, who introduces Bart, and so on. So you can see that this is an exact duplicate of platform one. And why wouldn't it be? Because one of our rules is that we put people in the same positions in all of the platforms. So what that means now is your income has jumped up to $2,000 per month. So let's move platform two out the way and get to platform three, which is exactly the same. The same you, the same Alan, Bell, and Chris, the same friends they've introduced. So now your income is $3,000 per month. Move that out the way to make way for platform four. And you begin to get the picture now. You're building exactly the same structure and exactly, sorry, in all four platforms. And your income now is $4,000 per month. And the great thing about this is that these people can't help but go ahead and make more money. They're going to introduce somebody further down the network, and that person is going to get into all four platforms. Maybe not on day one, but over a few weeks, they'll be introduced to all four platforms. So you make money, you make more money in every single platform. Okay, and that's one of the great benefits. So you build future business. So your overall business grows at a faster rate than any one platform because it builds all four platforms, 6 platforms, 8 platforms, however many we've got. But now look, so that runs on for a little while, hopefully many years. That's a stable situation to be in. And what happens now is that something happens to platform 4. Maybe the regulators close them down. The person who's running the business dies and he's made no succession plan. Anything could happen. That particular industry closes down. It was involved in something in the real world, like I don't know, gold mining, and all of a sudden nobody wants to mine gold anymore. The rules where that mining has changed. Anything can happen to that business. It doesn't have to be a bad business. It just means things change. So platform 4 has gone. So the income from platform 4 is gone, but your income has only dropped $3,000 per month. You haven't lost all of that income. You haven't wasted all of that effort that it took to build platform 4. You're still receiving $3,000 per month. All of your people are still happy because they're all still making money. All of your personal contacts are still happy because, yes, they're not making as much as they were a few weeks ago with platform 4 in play, but they haven't lost all of their friends. You haven't, they haven't, sorry, they're not cross at you because you lost the money. They're still a team. They're still part of the process. Okay, so this is how you protect your permanent network. If you only have one platform and it goes bust, you lose all of that effort and the people that you've introduced. So our job then is to go out and find platform five. And when we find platform five, we put the same people in the same positions in the same networks throughout the whole system. So now your income jumps back up to $4,000 per month. And again, not on day one, but within a few days of us starting platform five, you already have 10 people in your business. And that could just easily be 100 people. It could be 1,000 people. It could be 10,000 people. Within a few days of starting platform four, if you had 1,000 people in your business, within, let's say, 2 weeks of us starting platform five, you now have 1,000 people in platform five with you. Okay, so this is how you make benefit of the work you did initially to build platforms one, two, and three, and four. Okay, that effort hasn't been wasted. You now translate it into platform five. And if you have 10,000 people in your group, can you imagine building a brand new platform, and all of a sudden you're halfway up the bonus chart, you're already a 9 star, or you're a VIP 17, or whatever it is that their their compensation plan is paying out on. You don't have to work your way up through the ranks. Within a few days, bang, you're halfway up the bonus chart, or maybe at the top of the bonus chart. Who knows? And it's all based on work you did in the past. Platform five is almost no effort at all for you to build. Almost no effort. A few hours to get it set up, and all of a sudden, you're at one of the top earners, a 16 star or whatever it is. Okay, so this is the plan for Wealth Warriors. We don't want to be starting every new platform from scratch. We want to start halfway up the chart, halfway up the tree. It's easier to get to the top when you start halfway up. Oh, I like that. I've just invented that. I like that. I'm going to say that some more. It's easier to get to the top when you start halfway up. So the thing is, there are rules, and I'm not going to dwell on the rules because time is getting on. But if you want the benefits, you must follow the rules. And one of the rules is don't sign up on any other platform that comes along. If it's a good platform, Wealth Warriors will adopt it at some point. And it's difficult for you to be involved in Wealth Warriors in 3 or 4 platforms, and then all of a sudden in platform five, you're doing your own thing. Because then in platform six, one of your people will be doing their own thing, and they're then destroying the effort you've put into building your Wealth Warriors business because they're copying what you did. They're duplicating what you did, which is basically just to get involved in whatever they feel like. Okay. If it's a good platform, we will adopt it at some point. And there's this strange idea that there's this mad rush to get involved in a brand new platform. You've got to be the first one in. Absolutely not. Some of the people making some of the biggest money in these platforms didn't get in at the beginning. They got in later after all the bugs have been worked out, after all the rules have been changed 2 or 3 times. Okay, and then now they join up. Everybody knows what's doing. All the training systems in place, the advertising systems in place, and now they get on and build it really, really quick. So we don't need to be the first ones in. We just need to make sure that it's more important to make sure that the platform is sustainable. Number two, do sign up in all the platforms we adopt. I still have people phone me and say, listen, I love this particular platform, but I don't like that one. I said, well, join it anyway. Put some money in it anyway, because wouldn't it be crazy? You've got this great system called Wealth Warriors that's going to protect your permanent network, and it's going to mean that you don't lose all your money. And then what you do is you introduce all of your people just to the one platform and put all your money into that one platform. Well, you could do that without Wealth Warriors. Don't bother with Wealth Warriors. Go off, do your own thing. Brilliant. It may work. It hasn't up until now, it hasn't before, but it might work for you. Give it a go. Okay. Or if you want to be part of Wealth Warriors, then do what we suggest, which is sign up in all the platforms we adopt. So you should have, if we have 4 platforms, you should have about a quarter of your income coming from each of the 4 platforms. Or another benchmark you might want to use is if you're going to invest money across the platforms, invest about the same amount of money in all 4 platforms. There's lots of different ways of slicing the cake, but try and even things up so that you're in all of the platforms we adopt. Number 3, do maintain lines of sponsorship. This is absolutely vital. Have good communication with your lines of sponsorship, the people you introduce. Don't just introduce them. Don't just put an advert out on Facebook and say, and sign up 25 people but you don't know who they are or how to get them involved in your other platforms or anything like that. Okay, well, I have a landing page. I'll tell you later how you can adopt that landing page and use it for yourself. There's also a spreadsheet that I've started that you can use. It's a Google spreadsheet, so you can access it online. And then you just make a copy of it for your own use, and you can keep track of all the different usernames and all the different email addresses and so on of the people that you introduce to the Wealth Warrior platforms, which makes it easy. Then when we get a new platform, you can contact those people, make sure that they're all joining, make sure they know what they're doing, make sure they know why they're joining, why they should. Okay, so just need some basic management skills, if you like. And management skill that you need is basically filling in some information on a spreadsheet and then later referring back to that and communicating with the people. Imagine you got a business, you know that your business is going to produce you $1 million in the future. But all you've got to be able to do is maybe once a month, you send an email to people that you haven't spoken to for a month. Okay. Would you do that for $1 million a month in the future? Some people say, no, that's too much like hard work. I'm not organized enough to do that. Well, I've done the organization for you. There's a spreadsheet available. And then some people say, no, I can't be bothered. That's fine. Don't do it. But if you want to have the benefits, you must follow the rules. Do get you personally introduce people to do the same as you're doing. Don't let them do their own thing. Explain to them why they shouldn't do their own thing. That's not what Wealth Warriors is about. Because that's what's produced the results so far, and most people don't like the results they've had so far. Do support your own people by learning about all of the platforms we adopt. You don't have to be an expert, but people often ask me in-depth questions about some of these platforms that I don't know the answer to. I don't need to know the answers. I've decided where the line is in my own business. That when Wealth Warriors adopts this particular platform, we do A, B, and C, and that's all we want to do. That's all we're interested in. We get a passive income, we build a team, we get some money from the compensation plan. I'm not interested in all the other stuff they do. Okay, because we want to keep this light. We don't, but you can if you want to get involved in all the other stuff that platform does. You're absolutely up to you. But for me, I just want to do passive income, team building, and commission income. And that's if I get that out of every single platform we adopt, I'm happy with that. Like I said, I don't need to get involved in every other thing they do. But you can if you want to. So why worry about the rules? Well, what are we talking about the rules? They're there to make sure you get security of income, build a permanent network, and become wealthy. That permanent network is such a key part to the whole thing. You put the community first, and we don't focus on any one particular platform because platforms come and go, even the good ones. There were some great platforms around 5 years ago that aren't around now. Okay, but the community is what is permanent. So what criteria do we have for adopting a platform? One, it must be available in the whole world. Uh, it must have a unilevel compensation plan, and people must be able to join for free or get involved in a passive income program for a very low entry cost, i.e. $100. So as long as we can provide that, then it can be adopted for Wealth Warriors. Because if we have 1, 2, and 3, it means we can maintain the lines of sponsorship, which is the most important thing about Wealth Warriors. So, we're talking about our permanent network that is maintaining our personal lines of sponsorship, and we want to adopt that across all platforms. Number 4, it must be based on real world applications, and I've seen so many that are just so many businesses just money games, and people get in, they say, oh, I'm making this much money, they pay out, and the one I really despair of, they say it can't be a scam because they're allowing me to withdraw my money. Yeah, you just don't understand what a scam is or how these scams work. Of course, they let you withdraw your money because they wouldn't get very big if they didn't. That's not the key thing about a scam. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we avoid these money games, the Ponzi schemes, and so on and so forth. And it's frustrating for me because I know people who get into some of these things, and by the time it goes bust, they've made $50,000. And I'm thinking, well, if I'd have gotten in at the beginning when I realized, when I knew it was a scam, I could have actually got in and I could have made $50,000. But the reality is I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't get involved in something that I know is a scam. One, it would, well, you might not be religious. I am. To me, doing something like that would destroy my soul. which is far more important to me than $50,000. And I suspect there's a lot of people later in life, if they could buy a new soul for $50,000, they'd jump at the chance. Um, so yeah, I'm not interested in doing something, even if that particular platform's got a long way to run before it
Speed
fails.
four.
Not interested.
You remember that?
Sorry, can you unmute yourself, please? Sorry, who's talking? There we go. So I have muted everybody. So it's got to be based on real world applications. We must be able to, now this is becoming less and less critical because some of the platforms we're involved in are run by smart contracts. Some people say smart contracts are better than dealing with a company, but of course you've still got to be able to try and verify the smart contract, which is difficult to do because nobody's going to give you the code to a smart contract so you can check it and make sure that there's no glitches and no hidden things in there. I used to work with a company who built into the software was a thing that every single time somebody made money within that company, a small percentage of it went to the person who wrote the code for running the whole thing. Okay, nobody knew it was there. So without getting into the code, no, we wouldn't have been able to spot that as it was. I did get into the code, I did spot it, and I changed it. But yeah, you don't know about the smart contracts. It says we're going to do this and this and this, but you absolutely don't know. There might be something in there that says when there's this much money in the fund, shut all the contracts down. You just don't know. So I don't trust smart contracts to a massive degree. But like all of these things, sometimes it's worth putting a little bit of money in to see how it works, see if it does work, rather than doing nothing and miss out. But it's generally better to be out of an opportunity wishing we were in than in an opportunity wishing we were out. But some of these smart contracts, the only choice you've got is do it or don't do it. And so we proceed with caution. We don't put all of our life savings into one smart contract. We put $100 in and see how it goes. We put another $100 in and see how it goes, and so on. And if possible, what we'll do is we'll use profits from one of our businesses to get involved in one of the other businesses. So it's not money coming out of our pocket. If we can, we want to meet the CEO or the business owner. The compensation plan must be viable and sustainable. And meeting the CEO or the business owner, of course, some of you are on a Zoom call for this business we're beta testing, and they've met the CEO, they've met the coder. I call him a coder, which drives him nuts. He's actually he's a blockchain architect. That's his job description. He invented the fastest blockchain in the world. I don't know if you know, but the problem with blockchain transactions, for example, paying money, the reason it's not possible for you to go into a shop and pay with Bitcoin is because it can take 45, 50 minutes. It can take several hours for that Bitcoin transaction to be confirmed. And so you're sat there twiddling your thumbs. You bought some, you purchased some things, and you just sat at the checkout now waiting for your Bitcoin to arrive in their account for them to say, yes, you can take your stuff and get out of here. Okay. What we're looking for in blockchain terms is something that can handle the same sort of traffic as Visa. Now, Visa, at the moment, the Visa network worldwide can handle 25,000 transactions every second. This guy, Angelos, has built a network called, a blockchain called Steroid 4, Steroid 4.0. Steroid 4.0, you can look it up on the internet. There's several videos about it. It can operate at 105,000 transactions per second. So it's faster than Visa. So you could literally, if you want something to do that they're doing with Beep, which we'll be looking at some point in the near future, if they're looking at Beep or this new platform, all of these transactions happen faster through this blockchain than it does through Visa. Okay, so we've met both of these guys, so we know who they are, what they're like, and what they intend. Anyway, so the compensation plan must be viable and sustainable, and the membership, we must all be able to get behind it. We must not have moral objections to what that platform is doing, gambling or money lending or anything like that. So let's have a look at the platforms, and I'm going to have to speed this up. Matrix Freedom is a freedom part of the freedom movement. And one, they do two things. One is, sorry, Matrix Freedom do two things. One is that they allow you to recoup all of the money you've spent in the recent past. So the last 3 years worth of money that left your bank account, every single mortgage you've ever had in the past, every single loan you've ever taken out, you can avoid. Excuse me. You can you can void your current mortgage, or you could settle your current mortgage. So if you're paying, hundreds or thousands of dollars a month for the house you live in, you can fill in a few forms and have that written off. No longer, you then own the property. The same with car payments, the same with other loans, business loans, and so on. Okay, so they do that on the financial side, and on the other side, they allow you to become free from the matrix, free from government control. You become a real living person. You become the person off of the monopoly board, controlling the piece on the monopoly board. And this is the only way I've seen of doing that. So you can do that through Matrix Freedom. It's an incredible thing to be able to do. There's a lot of information, a lot of learning to do. You need to pass some accreditations before they'll even allow you to take certain steps, because otherwise it's just a waste of your time. If you don't know how to maintain that, it's very easy to fall back into the trap that we've been living in for so many years. So Matrix Freedom. The second one is BitHarvest, and BitHarvest is a great company that produces electronic devices that plug into a booster farm. So they produce something called a booster, and it plugs into a booster farm. And through the magic of the internet, through virtual private networks, your booster in their booster farm talks to Bitcoin mining farms around the world and help them increase their productivity, and you get rewarded with part of that increased productivity. So the mining farm is happy because they're making more Bitcoin. The company BitHarvest is happy because they're taking a share of that success, and you're happy because you're getting a great return on the purchase for those electronic devices. So you buy those devices once and they earn for you every single day. You get paid in Bitcoin every single day. That's a tremendous, tremendous deal. Buy once, earn forever. Cryptex is a great business that I didn't trust to start with. I looked at it and couldn't make sense of it. And eventually I found somebody who knew a lot about Cryptex, and they talked me through how it works. There's a really, really clever, smart contract. And we've seen videos of people who have cashed these in for $400,000 after 3 years. Again, it costs them a few $100s to set it up. So basically, you pay $100 and you get a return after 3 years, or 5 years, or 7 years. The longer you leave it, the more money you make. After 3 years, you get 35,000% return. After 5 years, you get something like 470,000%, and after 7 years, you get 1,400 and something percent return. So phenomenal. And you don't believe that to start with, and I didn't. But when you find out how it works, you think, boy, this is clever. So recommend, you'll put at least some of your money into that. You don't need to put a huge amount to make a big impact in the future. But of course, 3 years is a very long time, or 5 years or 7 years, very long time. Anything could happen in that period of time. So don't put all of your life savings into that. And in fact, you can't, because the most you can invest in Cryptex is about $8,000. So if you've got $8,000 sat around doing nothing, then by all means buy the maximum amount that you can. And I suggest some 3, some 5, some 7. And there's also a special offer deal that you can buy more contracts for less money. So I'd recommend doing some of that, but certainly you don't want to be getting involved to a level that you can't afford to lose. And then the fourth one we've got involved with now is 9M. This is one we're not absolutely certain of. We kind of got dragged into it because it took over from something we were doing previously. I mentioned about a company where somebody ran off with all the money. Well, 9M have promised us that we can recoup the money we lost in that previous business if we do what they say. I've been looking at 9M. Some of the leaders are massively excited about it, and I'm just looking at it thinking I'm still not certain. I'm still not certain. So we've what I've done myself is I've put a little bit of money in it myself. I put $100 in over the last week or so. I've made $10 on my $100, so that bit seems to be working well. there was a problem with them showing us the money they brought over from the earlier venture. Well, they didn't bring the money. They're kind of compensate us for that. So I've noticed today that they've actually done that. They've updated my figures, so I can earn for the next $4,200. I can actually earn double of whatever anybody else in 9M is. If I do activity A and I should receive 10%, I'll actually receive 20% until that extra 10% has paid me an extra $4,200. So this sort of a pulling influence is dragging me to kind of think, well, maybe I should do a little bit more with this, but I'm still not certain. I don't know if I ever will be. Now I'm kind of we're kind of looking at that, and I don't know if we're going to spend time or effort promoting that as a big thing to do. We need some confidence that this new company is actually going to be doing what they say they're going to do. And every time I find out one thing to the good, I find out something that is to the bad. So we shall see. And then, of course, we've got another platform that we're looking at now, getting involved in the beta testing. We'll know more about that in the next couple of weeks. But that looks really good. And if we've got something as good as that, then we might say, well, why then do we need 9M? Instead of struggling on with 9M where confidence is low, we might then say, well, we've done the beta testing on this other thing. Our confidence is high, so let's swap them out. Of course, we might proceed with 5 platforms and still have low confidence in 9M and advise everybody just get involved at a very low level and build up, because there's the opportunity to double your money every I think it's every month or every 40 days or something. So you start with 100 or a couple of $100, and after a month you've doubled it, and after a month you've doubled it, and so within a year you can build up to a very, very nice earning capacity there. This only costs you $100 to get started. So we might say, yes, we've got low confidence, so therefore let's just put ourselves in a position where if it works, it's good, and we're playing with casino chips. And if it doesn't work, we've only lost $100. So that might be the way ahead. And as you know, I'm all about feedback from you guys. If you think that's it, if you've got thoughts one way or the other on that, I'd love to hear them. But we're not in a hurry to do one thing or the other. We don't have to get massively excited like the leaders of 9M now, because that's all they've got is 9M. They've invested so much time and money and effort into building their previous business, and they're hoping it's going to migrate across to 9M. They've got to sell their soul into 9M in order to recoup their previous efforts. We don't have to do that. We can say we can take it or leave it. So, we're in a great position in that respect. All of these things, including the new platform, come with a certain degree of team building, and you can get additional rewards for taking part in building a team of people in one way or another. And what we like to do, and what I recommend we do, is stick to our lines of sponsorship, so that across all 4 of those platforms, or 5 platforms, the same people are in the same positions. Now, in one of these platforms, you can earn down to 20 levels, which is great. And another one, you can only earn down to 2 levels. But we're not going to change anything. We're going to say, let's stick with that. And, and if you earn off of 20 levels, that's great. And if you only earn off of 2, that's the way the cookie crumbles. We don't suddenly say, well, now I'm going to break lines of sponsorship and bring some more people in on my front line. By all means, bring brand new people in, but people that are already in your line of sponsorship, make sure they stay within the correct structure. Otherwise, like I say, it would be a long-term disaster for what might be a short-term gain. Might not even be a short-term gain. So our communications, we run a Telegram group, so make sure your upline adds you to that group so that you can keep up to date with changes. This Zoom call happens every Sunday at 10 o'clock UK time. Attend yourself, bring new people, make sure your people attend. It's a shortcut to fast growth. So I don't know about you, and I have tried this. I can't explain Wealth Warriors to somebody when I'm talking to them about platforms. And if I talk to them about Wealth Warriors without talking about platforms, they're saying, so how much money do you make in Wealth Warriors? And so nothing. It's not a platform, it's a community. And I go, I don't get it. Why are you talking to me about it? So personally, I can't talk to people about Wealth Warriors when I'm talking to them about platforms. So I want to interest people in one platform so that I can then migrate them across all the other platforms. And the way I do that is I introduce them to one platform and then I send them a video like this video that we're making now to tell them how Wealth Warriors works. And that works really well. People then get back to me and say, okay, now I need your referral link for this business or that business. Or I'll talk to them. I'll say, what do you think of Wealth Warriors? They say, yeah, it looks interesting. I'd like to do something with it. I say, okay, well, the next platform I'm going to sign you up in is this. And it's an easy conversation once they know, so that they're in one platform with me. And it's an easy conversation now to get them into the other platforms because I sent them this video. If I try and do it in person, it's very difficult. I suppose the same thing could be achieved by bringing them along to this Zoom call on a Sunday and let me tell them why they need to not just stick with one platform with you, but to migrate across to all the other platforms. So this is kind of how we're going to build Wealth Warriors. We put them into one platform and then help them migrate across to the other platforms by teaching them about Wealth Warriors. And then what I suggest you do is attend the Zoom calls of all the platforms. Now, some of these platforms, they have a Zoom call every single evening. And some of you will say, well, I want to go to every single Zoom call for that platform. Brilliant, do that. Personally, I don't do that. I try to get to at least one Zoom call for each of the platforms every week. And mostly I achieve that. Sometimes I don't. As you know, some of you know, I'm kind of struggling with the time I can put into different things because of health issues. But if I can, I go to one of the platform, go to one of the Zoom calls every week. And the platform that I do go to, I try to make sure I take somebody with me. Every single Zoom call I go to, I like to take somebody with me because it duplicates my effort. They then, if they get involved, they know when they go to that Zoom call, they take somebody with them. It's duplication. You teach people how to do what you're doing by doing it yourself. For Matrix Freedom, it's slightly different. What you need to do is to work your way through the webinars and books at your own pace, but get the first roadmap completed as soon as possible. There's also a website where you can look at 10-minute videos of absolutely everything. So you don't actually have to sign up as a member in order to get all this information. What I would say is that Matrix Freedom is the only one that doesn't have an automatic affiliate plan. With all these others, as soon as you join, you are an affiliate, you have a referral link. With Matrix Freedom, you have to do a certain amount of learning first, and then you need to attend a webinar to become an affiliate or a network organizer, and then you pass a little test and you can become an affiliate. Okay, so it's not an automatic thing that you can be an affiliate, but I suggest you take the trouble to do that because one, it will motivate you to help the people in your network, in your Wealth Warriors lines of sponsorship to join Matrix Freedom, which is good for them and it's good for you. So it'll help you to focus on that. And two, we are talking about maintaining lines of sponsorship across all platforms. So I think that's important to do. If you're not an affiliate of Matrix Freedom, I suggest you do that. Then what you do is you get the referral links for all the platforms from the person who invited you to this presentation or sent you this video. And this is why people phone me up and say, I've watched our video. Can I have your referral links, please? And I've got a little text document that I send them with all of my referral links for all of my platforms. I don't give it out generally, but only when people phone me and say, can I have your referral links now? So register in all the opportunities and make a note of your referral links and then pass them on to your frontline members or the people that you invite to see the presentation. Make a minimum payment into all the opportunities. If you can't do it immediately, just over a period of time, put $100 here, $100 there, and so on. And then and then you started in all the different platforms. You can build up from there. Ask your introducer to be added to the Wealth Warriors Telegram group, and they'll get hold of me. What we'll need is proof that you've actually done something with one of the platforms. I'd need to see you purchased a booster, or you've staked some money, or you bought a contract, or whatever it is that you're a member of Wealth Warriors. Okay, so I need to know that you're doing something. Our communication channel is not the sort of place where people go to find out about Wealth Warriors or any of our platforms. There's plenty of other opportunities or groups for them to join for that. Our groups are for us to communicate with each other, not to answer a lot of questions about, well, is this a scam or does this really work? Or, go find that out elsewhere. this is a business. We have our own business rules. We're not interested in talking new people into doing something. Attend a Zoom call or watch a video for each platform. We've covered that. And as new platforms are added, so platform 5, 6, 7, soon as you signed up, get that referral link. So get the referral link from your upline and join as quickly as possible. Pass your referral link to your existing team and get on a presentation for that new platform as soon as possible. So that's like a little checklist of what to do when we introduce a new platform. If you have 1,000 people in your group and everybody's focused on doing that with a brand new platform, you should be able to get everybody all those 1,000 people should be able to get into your business in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, I've had people phoning their upline saying, "Have you joined yet? I need your referral link. Hurry up, get in quick. I need your referral link." Okay, so make sure and nag your upline to get into something as soon as we've got a new platform and get their referral link. Grow your Wealth Warriors community by bringing people to the Wealth Warriors Zoom calls or by sharing this video from YouTube. You only have to promote the 1 or 2 platforms you like and then bring them along. And I've covered this before, and we'll tell them how to do this and why. Build one platform and have 4 or more platforms grow below you. You've seen that before. You can get a Wealth Warriors landing page by signing up for a free account with System.io, or you can take that link, click on that link. It's not clickable in this presentation, but I can put it in the chat, or you can just get the video and copy this down. You click on that, and what happens is System.io, a company called System.io, will create a new account for you and copy my landing page across for you to use, and they will also copy across 15 emails that I've written, or actually GPT write for me, and then you can change the referral links in those emails to suit you. I'm going to do some work on this in the next few weeks. This is going to be a lot more swept up. It's going to be a better landing page, and the emails are going to be more specific to what we're doing with Wealth Warriors, rather than at the moment this just focuses on one of the platforms. Those emails focus on one of the platforms. You can also get a free Cryptex landing page thanks to our upline. So you take this link, and at the end there where it says C123456789, you just put your Cryptex account number in there. Then you can give this link out to people. They click on that and they go to a landing page. It explains and it produces videos for them to watch. It explains everything about Cryptex, and when they click on tell me more or join now, I forget what the buttons say. When they click on those buttons, they register to your Cryptex account. So it's very clever. Our upline have provided that, like I say, free of charge. Lots and lots of people have put in that link out, and people are signing up by the dozen. So there's a lot of interest out there for Cryptex at the moment. There's a lot of skepticism, of course. Like I say, 3 years is a long time, but we're getting close to actually being able to see my results in there, and the results of some people I know and trust. But there is also a video on that landing page that tells you about how to. So some people that have withdrawn $400,000 from Cryptex. So all the marketing materials, chat groups, PDF documents, everything you could possibly need is available for you for the Bit Harvest. There's a Telegram group called Bit Harvest Info Group. For M9, there's a Notions site. Some of you know that programmers use Notions to this system of Notions to collaborate on software projects. So if you go to 9mc.notion.site/9m-en is English. If you want a different language, then you put in DE for German, you put in FR for French, and so on. So they're all in the same information, just in different languages. Where am I? There we go. Cryptex, there's a boards. So boards is very similar to Notion. Programmers generally collaborate, or project management people generally collaborate on boards so that anybody can post things into boards. And if you go to boards.com/a/VM8DI6.YDSNJE, everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about Cryptex is in there. Videos, landing pages, PDF documents, groups to join, Facebook groups, Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups. Everything you need to know is in there. Matrix Freedom, there is a website, as I said before, that's got so much information on there, and this is available for non-members. If you join as a member, it's free, and there's so much information you've got available there. But you need a referral link to join Matrix Freedom, but you can check out all this information on this website at matrixfreedom.org, and huge amount of information. So a quick reminder, what are we doing with Wealth Warriors? We're building a solid foundation. That's the whole point, a solid foundation. It's not based on anybody else's criteria. It's not based on what anybody else wants. It's what we want for our own future, our own business, our own online business. And it's what we're going to base our financial future on. We only work with companies that are in it for the long term. We only work with companies that are above board, as far as we can tell, of course. We can be fooled. Anybody can fool people. It is getting easier to spot these things, but it's not impossible for somebody to smoke one past us. But where we're not certain, then we're cautious. So the point is we build a large asset, which in turn delivers a large income, whatever that asset is, whether it's boosters or staking plans or contracts. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. We want a lot of them. Only platforms that meet our rigorous criteria are even considered. And we apply our rules to this industry to achieve our outcomes. Okay, so this is where we're drawing the line in the sand. We're not interested in what the platforms say. We're really not interested. They can add things, take things away. It doesn't matter. As long as it meets our criteria, then we'll stick with it. And if it doesn't, then we'll be gone. Okay, so what's important is we've decided what our outcomes are going to be. And so we now need to apply our rules. We're taking charge of our online businesses. We're not letting other people control what we want, what we're going to do with our online businesses. Okay. So finally, it's important to remain safe on the internet and in the world of online opportunities at all times. Never share your password or other credentials with anyone. And I still get amazed when I see people call me, or have people call me and they say, all my money's gone. So who did you give the platform, your information to? They say, oh, it was my upline. Okay, who are they? Well, they stopped talking to me. And this isn't particularly within Wealth Warriors. In fact, it hasn't happened in Wealth Warriors, which is another great thing, I suppose, because we're all together in this in many different platforms, so we don't need to be ripping people off. But yeah, so I see that people share passwords and credentials. Just be careful. It's like giving people the key to your front door. Would you really give them the key to your front door if you knew what they were really like? So where it's available, set up your 2FA on your accounts. And if you don't know what it is, just Google 2FA or look up in the FAQs for that platform. There's nearly always a 2FA. Is somebody was saying to me, well, the platform itself has its own passwords and its own security and so on and so forth. I'm saying that's right. But platforms have been hacked in the past, haven't they? Yes, they have. You hear about it in the news every week, every month, whatever. Different things get hacked. The government gets hacked. Newspapers get hacked. The Ministry of Defense gets hacked. Okay. So if any of these platforms get hacked, so if their security isn't up to scratch, your last line of defense is your own Google 2FA or your own 2FA. It means that nobody can access your account, even if they hack the platform. They can't hack your account because they need your 2FA to get into it. So it's you're holding the keys to your account, nobody else. And so I recommend everybody do that with every account. Back up your passwords and your 2FA codes in a secure location, and make sure the executors of your will or your beneficiaries, your living will, your power of attorney person, whatever it is, okay, make sure they have access to this information in the event of your death or your incapacitation, or you might be in a coma. If enough people get involved in crypto, at some point somebody's going to have some crypto in a wallet and they're going to die. Somebody else is going to have crypto in a wallet, they're going to go into a coma. It's going to happen. So make sure that what you've taken the time to build up for your beneficiaries is available to your beneficiaries if something happens to you. So welcome to Wealth Warriors. We are financial freedom fighters. We're fighting against the current. We're trying to do things differently. We're trying to do things to benefit us, not to benefit the powers that be. So get back to the person who invited you on this call or referred you to this video. They are ready and waiting to help you avoid scams, protect your permanent network, and create immense personal wealth. So I'm going to stop the sharing. We'll go back to the room, and then I'll wind down the video and we'll switch it off, and then we'll stay on the call and have a question and answer session. So excellent. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. This is, as I said, this is the one we do on a Sunday evening, every Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time. We'll do the same again next Sunday, early in July. Who can believe it's nearly July? So I'm still wondering what happened to the millennium, to be honest. So yeah, that's the end of the presentation. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, then come on the Zoom call or join the Telegram group and pass your questions or talk to the person who introduced you. And I'll look forward to seeing more of you next week on the Sunday evening call. By all means, share this video from YouTube. I'll be posting the link in the Telegram group. And like I said, this is the easiest way. Sharing this video with people is the easiest way of telling people about Wealth Warriors. It's the easiest way of getting them to migrate from the one platform into all 4 platforms. So with that, I'm going to switch off the recording and then we'll get down to question and answer session. So God bless everybody. Thank you for being here and thank you for watching the video. God bless. See you next.
I want to see you win. I want to see you absolutely smash every single dream you have. I want to see you overcome all of the barriers you face, and I want to see you succeed. I'm your biggest fan, your top supporter, and I'll be with you every single step of the way. You're destined for greatness, with or without me, and I want to see you achieve. Your potential is limitless, and your determination is inspiring. Keep striving for your goals, and I'll continue to cheer you on.